12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, shot over 50% from the field at 12 for 23, 5 of 10 from deep, and 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Dwayne Wade, not quite as strong a game, but still a great performance. 23 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks on 11 of 21 shooting. Leading the Heat to the victory. The Spurs, of course, beat them the following year in the finals at 2014. And after that, LeBron went back to Cleveland. Cleveland last season lost to the Golden State Warriors in 6 games. And this year, rematch of that year's finals. Here we are at Game 7. Will we have another historic Game 7 performance? Of course, if Cleveland were to win, it would likely be from LeBron James. Or will Steph Curry have his best game of the NBA Finals, help Golden State win back-to-back NBA championships, and cement his status as NBA Finals MVP? If he puts up a 32.8 assist game, then in all likelihood, he is the Finals MVP, despite, not playing up to his level in the first 6 games. We'll see what happens, though. 8 p.m., so we got, 2.5 hours till that pivotal Game 7, last game of the NBA season. Then we'll have to wait a few months until the NFL regular season begins, and we'll have baseball, still playing up until October when the playoffs will begin. It has been an entertaining season so far in baseball. A lot of big stories, especially dealing with the Cubs, who are off to an amazing start. Few rookies off to great starts. Trevor Story, Corey Seager, just to name a few. Almides Diaz, Kenta Maeda, Steven Matz. Been a lot of good rookies this year. Few surprise teams, a few disappointing teams, few surprise players, a few disappointing players. We'll have the All-Star game coming up soon. A couple votings have been shown, a couple fan votings as to who will start in the All-Star game. Perhaps that'll be my show for next week, or maybe the following week. All-Star, who should be starting in both leagues. Fans, most of the time they do a halfway decent job, but, almost every year there's a couple guys that definitely don't deserve to start the All-Star game, but the fans vote them in to start. I'll take a look at that in a week or two. We will see. NFL, as I mentioned, starts pretty soon. Hockey just ended with the Pittsburgh Penguins once again winning the Stanley Cup. Sidney Crosby's second Lord Stanley victory. Trying to cement himself as one of the greatest hockey players of all time. Of course, recently we lost Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe, arguably the best of all time. A guy that a lot of people consider the best. Wayne Gretzky actually does consider Gordie Howe to be the best hockey player of all time. But that's an argument for another time. That will about do it for episode number 72. I thank you all for listening so much. I really do hope you enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. If you're a wrestling fan, enjoy that Money in the Bank pay-per-view. If you're an NBA fan or a sports fan in general, it really doesn't get any better than Game 7. It's basically the Super Bowl. One game decides it all. Two of the biggest superstars in the game in LeBron James and Stephen Curry. A lot of lower tier stars as well. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving. Will Kevin Love show up in this Game 7? Let me briefly mention really quick, as a Knicks fan, Carmelo's been involved in a lot of trade rumors recently, despite having a no-trade clause, despite never once even hinting that he might want to leave New York. But, it's the media capital of the world, so, there's always going to be trade talks involving star players if the team isn't exactly performing up to par. But, I don't understand how people could really think Carmelo for Kevin Love would be a good trade for the franchise. Um, Maybe Cleveland isn't using him to his full ability, but you just gotta think, maybe he was putting up those 25 and 13 numbers with the Timberwolves because they just weren't a good team. Those teams were winning 20, 25 games a year. You always got to question, whether a player really is a superstar if they're putting up numbers on a team that isn't winning games. And yeah, I understand the Knicks the past 2 seasons haven't been winning games, but Carmelo Anthony has been a part of some very good teams, including the Knicks in the 2012-2013 season. Took a Denver Nuggets team to the Western Conference Finals, 08 maybe. So he's been a vital part of some very good teams. I just don't understand why the Knicks would pull a plug on a trade like that. But, as I mentioned, it's the media capital of the world. Of course, there's always going to be trade speculation on behalf of the Knicks. But if Phil Jackson, if you're listening, don't do that trade, please. But if you want to trade for a draft pick, since our first round pick is non-existent because we traded for Andrea Bargnani, please do so. Would love to have a draft pick, even if it's a second round pick, whatever. But that'll do it, episode 72. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Thank you all so much for listening to the show. Until next week, I love you all. Goodbye.